In this video, we will introduce object serialization within the Java programming language. Writing text to a file is not the same as object serialization. How do you persist or save an object in memory to disk? How do you save its data types, values, and associations? An object state consists of instance fields that store primitive type values and or references to other objects. When an object is serialized, the objects that are part of this state are also serialized, unless you prevent them from being serialized. Java provides a mechanism called object serialization, where an object can be represented as a sequence of bytes that includes the object's data, as well as information about the object's type and the types of data stored in the object. Our example is illustrated with a user object. Perhaps we want to serialize our object. Notice that for a class to be serialized successfully, two conditions must be met. The class must implement the Java I/O serializable interface. Number two, all the fields in the class must be serializable. If a field is not serializable, it must be marked transient. Let's implement the Java I/O serializable interface to allow the object to be saved to disk with state. Okay, now I implemented my method on my user object. We probably don't want to save the password outside the system, so we're going to mark our instance variable with the keyword transient, which indicates that the variable should not be serialized. By default, all the variables in the object is converted to persistent state. Here we have our usual constructors, our getters and setter methods for our fields, and our toString method. Now if we look at our demonstration class, here we have our demo class. If we look at its main method, we see that we initialize our object and give it values. In this instance, we initialize user, give it an ID of 1, a name of Mozart, and a secret password. We print out its values to the console so we can look at what data it has inside. This block of code here actually serializes the object. We use file object stream with a value of user.ser to save our user. So that's going to write a user.ser to the file disk. Using the object output stream to write a primitive data types and graphs of Java objects to an output stream. Our write object method writes the specified object to the object output stream. So here we're actually doing the writing. We close it, and then we finally close our file output stream. After the object has been serialized to the disk, we erase the object in memory. So we set our reference to null. We're going to print out to the console and verify that our user object is actually null. Now we deserialize our object by using file input stream with the name of our object being passed to its constructor. Again, user.ser. The object input stream deserializes primitive data and objects previously written using an object output stream. We read the object from the stream and the class of the object, the signature of the class, and the values of the non-transient and non-static fields of the class, and all of its supertypes are read. Then we close both streams. We catch any exceptions, and now we confirm the values of our deserialized object. Let's run our example and see the output. Notice how the password field has no value. It was set here. We erased the reference, And when we reconstituted the object after being serialized to disk, the password is null. Since it's a transient field, its state was never serialized to disk. This concludes our discussion of object serialization in Java.